Welcome to the Pico Inspects virtual presentation program. We present 4 topics addressing the use of X-ray imaging systems in your processing and packaging applications. Detect before you pack, high-performance can inspection, glass container inspection solutions, and X-ray inspections and Industry 4.0. For the past 65 years, Pico has supplied innovative solutions for food processors and packaging operations that enable more efficient and consistent performance. We started our operations in 1955 in Santa Clara County when our customers were fruit canners. These products met the developing needs for non-contact sensing and control for the emerging canning and can manufacturing industry being pioneered in Santa Clara County. We have evolved with the Valley and our product development in what is now Silicon Valley. Our products build on a tradition of innovation that is enhanced by the foundation that our location provides. The Pico Inspects development of the ScanTrack X-ray inspection system over the past 20 years has radically changed the way companies plan for process and quality control. We will have presentations by Alan Anderson, who has led the company for over 40 years, as Pico Inspects has migrated from control to inspection, from analog to digital processing, and from signals to images. Ken Jones joins Pico Inspects as CPO with 30 years in the food processing and equipment industry. Jay Perek heads engineering with a charter to further project the utility of the Internet of Things to enhance what our systems can do for you. And Mark Sheparovich, head of sales, with the challenge to marry our skills to your needs and deliver solutions for your applications.
Hello, my name is Mark Sheparovich, VP of Sales at Pico Inspects. Today, we will be discussing breakthroughs in glass container inspection utilizing state-of-the-art X-ray technology. This will be followed by a question and answer session. Inspection of food and pharma containers has never been as important as it is today. Companies need to be on the leading edge of inspection capabilities because of issues we are all familiar with, such as recalls, holds, scrap, lost customers, customer complaints, all measured in KPIs, OEEs, etc., and even legal requirements such as those in the Food and Safety Modernization Act. One of the main worries in the manufacturing process stems from quality that creates output problems that of course hits everyone's bottom line. While glass has many consumer benefits, inspection of these containers represent many engineering issues. There are no shortcuts in the ability to inspect these containers that have many variations. A punt at the bottom of the container, differing shaped contaminants, and foreign material with the same density characteristics as the container we are looking through. To see foreign material that can be anywhere in the glass jar, a single beam X-ray machine will not always catch items that can be choking hazards and are also razor sharp. Asymmetric glass shards can be completely missed if located behind the raised punt and or on the side of the container. Pico Inspects has developed 2 dedicated solutions to solving this difficult application. Our Trio machine, which has a single source and 3 detectors, ideally placed to look around the container. The Glissando machine offers 2 separate sources and 2 detectors that allows us to look over the punt area. This gives us a clear view of the entire container. We will discuss these solutions in more detail. Both solutions have proprietary software to Pico Inspects that allows us to learn the container variations without masking out critical area. This greatly reduces false reject rate and allows us to find things other competitors cannot. Let's begin with the Trio design. We view the product from the side, and it has been engineered to negate any blind spots. Our X-ray machines have run at speeds exceeding 1,400 containers a minute. It is easily installed around your existing line. Notice the representation of 3 beams in the video that look at the container at different angles. In the next few images, you will notice an X-ray source located at the bottom of the page, with beams that diverge, and detectors denoted in blue that help capture those rays and develop an image. Using only one detector allows for a percentage of contaminants to be missed depending upon their location and orientation. The red arrow points to a large contaminant that is hidden and may go out to the consumer. Utilizing a second detector allows us to look around the punt and inspect those areas previously hidden. Both contaminants are now fully visible. With this solution, we find contaminants hidden behind the punt, but we also have more chances of finding irregular contaminants such as stone, plastics, bones, etc. Although this solution requires separation of the product, we understand in the real world there may be some variations in container placement. This can lead to shadows created by the overlap of containers. Our solution is a third beam that inspects in the middle, which allows you to detect the entire container. Here is a real-life example of the same container seen through the eyes of 3 detectors. Notice the same soda lime glass contaminant is easily detected in the 2 images on the right. The image on the left by itself would have missed it because of its location. In this image, you will notice a very high punt in the wine bottle we inspected. This really brings Pico Inspect's solution to life. The shard is only found in the right image. The shard can have many different dimensions and lay in any orientation. Some of these shards can be very thin. In some orientations, the X-ray machine will not see an adequate density change, but the other beams are there to find it. The second glass solution Pico Inspects has developed is the Glissando Plus. We inspect the container from the side at 2 different angles. This allows you to look over the punt area. Our machines will run at your production speeds. The products can be touching, and it has the capability of running extra large containers. As we see in the side view image on the right, this solution has 2 sources and 2 detectors. If you look closely, you'll notice the lower source actually goes through the conveyor belt in order to inspect the bottom. The upper source is used to capture the remaining aspects of the container. The Glissando is ideally suited to inspect multiple sizes of containers, from the extremely small to the gallon container shown on the right. Because the image is so clear, you can use this for extremely accurate fill level detections, both low and high, cap inspections, etc. Your existing containers will be diverted onto our unique polymer belt. This belt is extremely durable, seamless, and easy to work with. It will allow for ideal imaging of your product without the noise that would be generated from a standard belt or track conveyor. That noise would make you desensitize the inspections and possibly miss large contaminants. We supply the complete solution in glass inspection: the actual X-ray detection, conveyors, reject stations, controls, and even valve filler tracking. Through the years, we have developed many solutions to customer issues, whether can, plastics, boxes, glass, or bulk applications. We have an expert staff of engineers who can look at your specific needs and qualify your application. Pico Inspects has always been on the leading edge of support and new innovation. We have gone through the basics of some of our technologies. We can have further discussions on such topics as high-resolution detection, as shown in the image of the wine bottle with extremely thin wire. Or we can speak about our unique remote service, empty bottle inspection, bird swings, wall thickness, automatic sampling, inclusions in the glass, just to name a few. Join us on our other presentations, including can inspection, inspect before you pack, and our developments in Industry 4.0, as we try to stay ahead of the market needs and wants. We can begin our question and answer session now. Thank you very much for your time today.
Hello, I'm Mark Sheparovich. I'm here with Alan Anderson, the owner of Pico Inspects. Why don't we start with some questions via chat?
I could pose one from the earlier session we had on our detect before you pack, and it had to do with the inspection of the packages before you put things in them, and it had to do with glass inspection. And I think, we're thinking right here about finding foreign material like glass shards in the container before you put the fruit and the vegetables in there. But we also can use the glass inspection system, such as the Trio, to find glass inclusions in the sidewall and issues that you'd want to get out before you even put it towards the filler. And the Trio does a great job of doing that because it can isolate and give you more than 250% view of the sidewall, but look at them straight on.
Can you guys clarify the spacing requirements between containers on your various glass inspection machines?
Sure, we have multiple variants of machines to meet your specifications. With one of our solutions, containers can be back to back. With our Trio design, because there are 3 beams that come out, we need separation on those. And that's why we supply an additional conveyor belt.
Yeah, so we can inspect typically when the cans or glass jars are coming out of a rotary device like a capper or filler or a labeler, and they naturally have sufficient separation, which is roughly half a diameter of the container we're inspecting.
So outside of the contaminant detection of glass and metal, what other value adds, inspections, for example, can X-ray provide and specifically for glass containers?
Well, what's interesting in a lot of the applications that we've put out there, we start with metal and we start with glass inspection, and actually we find quite a bit more. In one of our customers, we're actually finding more inclusions in the glass than anything else. And they've been able to go back to the manufacturer of the glass manufacturer with these containers and say, we need you to get better. So there's quite a bit more in there. With some types of plastics we can find. We have found plenty of stones in glass containers, actually quite a few of those. So we actually have to test that here. We want to get any type of material that you may run into, test it in our facility here. We have a vast amount of machines, all of our machines that we can do testing on your exact application.
Yeah, and just to amplify on the fact that we're taking an X-ray picture, something you're familiar with, but we're doing at extraordinarily high speed. With that picture, we can look for anything that you'd want to confirm in that image, like a fill level or in some applications, a head space. You don't want to overfill. You can measure the volume in effect so that you can associate the overall measurement with the filler performance, and in certain cases, be able to detect the presence of the cap or such that's on the container.
So you mentioned finding includes. Talk a little bit about some of the use cases for empty glass inspection as opposed to just the filled glass inspection.
Well, I think as Mark mentioned, one of the most common sources of rejects among our glass customers that are filling, it comes from the fact that there's a piece of foreign material in the sidewall. And if we're inspecting at a point in the line, before cooking in particular, that's going to save them some expense, because it's those points of weakness where the glass might crack and cause a greater source of contamination. So when they see this, they back up to try to get that out before you put it into the system. So we're looking increasingly at the opportunities there to protect your filling process by making sure the glass container is to the standards that you want before you put the product in there.
So we've got a couple of inquiries around this same topic. So one person is asking, are we able to detect cracks in an empty container?
Thinking if you can, that our X-ray is pretty much an expression of density. And so unless you're creating a change in the density in that image, it's not going to be revealed in X-ray. It's kind of like your own medical exams with looking for a broken rib. Just a cracked rib, probably not going to show up. And that's the same thing with cracks in glass. What we can find are the remnants of something that has been a severe crack, a contaminant that maybe has made its way down to the bottom of the container.
And would you be able to find missing and cocked caps in filled containers? That was another question in the chat.
With some of our solutions out there, we are actually looking straight at that cap, straight at that fill level. So there are things we can do with some of our machinery to do all of those types of inspections. But again, we have to determine that with your exact containers.
Yeah, it's getting the right angle on something like that to get the resolution that you need. I mean, it's very common in our, some of our large format systems that utilize two X-ray beams, and one of which is focused on the top of the container. And in that case, we can do a lot with missing, cocked, things that are askew. But you have to, evaluate the merits of if it's an application that you might just as easily be able to do it, with a simple infrared sensor and not incur the additional cost of an X-ray tube, which is, can be considerable.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time. If you have additional questions, feel free to send us those via chat, or we'll be happy to answer any of those questions. Thank you very much.
See us a little later here in the day. We'll be here with special on can solutions using X-ray.